All right. What's up, YouTube and Kick? We're gonna start the TikTok show now. Let's get it going. All right. Not gaming. We are not gaming, so let's change that. Chat and interview. Let's change our settings, our graphics settings, because we don't need no damn 60 FPS. Imagine having, dude, this app. Thank God. All right, let's go ahead and start this. We start our countdown. Apply.
Out here in the fire pit burning bright, Blaze got the mic spitting truth to the night. Smokehouse slides in heavy like a freight train. Rock dropping bombs making waves like propane. The fire pit blazing hotter than the sun. Politics in motion, yeah, the show's just begun. From TikTok screens to every house in town, Blaze, Smokehouse, and Pair Rock laying it down. They say the country's split like open ground. Voices go unheard till the truth is found. Blaze calls the shot, Smokehouse holds the line. Barack sparks the matches where the flames align. The fire pit glowing, casting shadows of lies. Truth up in the smoke, tearing masks from the skies. TikTok live where the real ones ignite. Run your mouth wrong and get lost in the light. The fire pit blowing, casting shadows on lies. Truth up in the smoke, tearing masks from the skies. TikTok live where the real ones ignite. Run your mouth wrong and get lost in the light. Keyboard warriors lurking, eyes full of fear. Blaze cuts through the smoke, makes it all crystal clear. Smokehouse with the hammer, dropping words like nails. Pair Rock preaching fire to fill liberty sails. The fire pit blazing hotter than the sun. Politics in motion, yeah, the show's just begun. From TikTok screens to every house in town, Blaze, Smokehouse, and Pair Rock laying it down.
What is going on, TikTok? It's your boy White Tribe Blaze, and we're back with another video. Okay, well, I should say live stream. I'm in the habit of making videos. We're doing a live show. Okay, we're gonna open up the panel, but you see the topic is abolishing the DOE, the Department of Education, going to be a good idea? We all know it has to go through Congress. Okay, like everybody's already said that. We all know that. But do we think it's going to be a good idea? Because to be honest, I don't necessarily know if it is or not. I haven't been convinced. I'm going to be honest. I was actually having a discussion with my brother earlier, and he brought up the fact that the DOE is simply funding. They don't make any curriculums. They don't basically constitute what is considered education. Now, if you want to say that they decide who gets the funding and that's how they decide what is considered education and what is not, that's a different argument. But as far as them creating curriculums themselves, they don't do that. And I actually had thought they did, so I was corrected on that. But I haven't seen a good reason for Trump wanting to get rid of the Department of Education. And the reason I say that is because the biggest thing that I've only seen is him coming out and saying that they have failed us, which I agree. Our public education system sucks, right? But to say that it's all in the DOE and that defunding them and getting rid of them is going to fix the problem doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm going to be honest. because it's funding. If you want to decide who gets funded differently, well, sure. I mean, we can have a conversation about that, but should the DOE be abolished entirely? I don't necessarily think so. I've got the thing open, you guys. I'm waiting on people to get in here. I'm just gonna invite all y'all. You can come up if you want. Greeny. Okay, Greeny. I invited you. Let's get this going. I don't think you guys can join until I invite you. So let's get this going. As a matter of fact, all right. So you guys, let's cut that. Okay. So you guys now know that you can join the panel. Okay. You see it? Everybody know that you can join? All right. So I would, but I'm at work. Oh, okay. Gotcha. It gives power back to the stage, which it turns. Okay, but how so? See, Greeny, this is the problem that I'm having is how does it give power back to the states? Because essentially all DOE is funding, right? They don't make the curriculums. Meaning, what's up, P-Rock? Meaning,
Hello?
essentially, if easier to vote on, it can be voted on in smaller elections. Well, but see, what you're missing, Greeny, is that I'm telling you, they don't make legislation. All they do is fund. If you want to say that, like, okay, they take favoritisms towards certain schools or certain programs because of like DEI or wokeism, you know, stuff like that. Sure, like, yeah, you could definitely say that they kind of force that. But I don't necessarily think that getting rid of the DOE would make anything easier on anybody, to be honest. What's going on, P-Rock? I know you disagree with the. Well, I won't say disagree. Do you think getting rid of DOE would be a good idea?
DOE?
Yeah, Department of Education.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so why so?
I think it puts power back into the states. Basically, if you look at it, the amount of education that you're getting today is not anything compared to what they had back then.
Right.
You're talking about 20s, 30s, and 40s. All you got to do is look for an old school book, open it up, and you can see the difference.
Right.
Matter of fact, just found out today that they no longer teach civics, and I think they barely teach history in school nowadays. And how in the world are kids being able to go to college but still can't read? How's that happening?
Sorry, they can't hear you apparently. Give me 1 second. Sorry, P-Rock. All right. Can you hear him now, Greeny? Thank you for the follow, by the way. Hello? Anybody? No, maybe not. Try now. Say something now, P-Rock.
Hello?
It might just be playing through my headphones. No, it definitely is playing through my headphones. You've got to be shitting me. Try that.
Hello?
No, I see what they're talking about because it's not showing up. You've got to be shitting me right now. Do what?
I said we got the echo thing going.
Yeah, the echo thing is good. Motherfucker. This sucks. Oh, wait a minute. Say something.
Hello?
Okay, we got it now. All right, we got it. We got it now. Dude, what the hell? So it's... All right, say something, P-Rock, because I want to know which one this is.
Say something, people.
It's my background. Okay. All right. That's so weird. Okay. All right. Anyway, I don't know why it does that. Getting back to the subject on hand. So essentially what you're saying is like it's the DOE's fault that that education in America has fallen to where it's at right now.
No, of course.
Okay. Do you believe that's because of funding?
How can you advance onto college and not be able to read?
How-
How does that work?
How can you do what?
Advance to college and not be able to read.
Yeah. I mean, we got Marty in here, so I want to bring up specific examples because I know Marty's going to he's going to hear this and then we need specific what are we talking about, like college athletes like who get the scholarships to go all the way and then they don't know how to, do basic stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Taking civics out of schools and
Or are you talking about maybe like the No Child Left Behind that Obama
Yeah, I think
created?
that's a lot of it right there, and that's part of what is it? The DOE.
DOE. Yeah, well, you can say Department of Education. It was just easier to type out DOE for the prompt.
The
Uh,
fact remains that we had better education when the states handled it than what the government does.
well, but see, okay, and so Marty actually told me this. Apparently, Jimmy Carter is the one that signed the DOE.
Yes.
Okay, and he signed it in, I believe, '79 is what is when he signed it. Which about 80, something like that.
20 to 19 vote.
Yeah. So
Matter of fact, a lot of Democrats sided with the Republicans on that one because they didn't care for it either.
I would like to see how our education numbers have dropped off since that. Because I mean, at one point we were the number one. We were one of the smartest nations in the world. Probably,
Yeah.
I would say like early 2000s, we were at the top of the list. And then as through the 2000s that we get to the point where we're at now, 2025, and I'm pretty sure we're in like the 30s or 40s. You know what? I want to find that out actually before I say anything. Where does U.S. rank in education world? U.S. education doesn't work. Okay, apparently Trump said we're the worst in the world. Okay, Marty said October 17th, 1979 when Jimmy Carter created. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, that was right. So apparently Trump's come out and said that we rank dead last in the world in education. Which I don't. Everybody's like, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And like, I mean, it might not be necessarily true. It might not be the worst. Okay, here we go. This is. Oh no, this was a year ago. Fuck me. Well, this was a year ago, and it says U.S. is ranked 13 of best education in the world. Guys, I'm going to be real. I don't know if I believe that, because if we look at the people that have come through public school systems and the shit that they say now, and just the amount of people that we got that don't know what the hell they're talking about is actually crazy. I believe they do it by category in most things. Oh, okay. So like but even then though, you would have a total score, right? I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm guessing, but I would assume you'd have a total score that you can index, like when you do your ACTs. You know what I mean? So all right, we're not dead last, and people are going crazy about Trump saying that we're dead last. So that's what I gathered from Googling that. Oh, yeah, true. Kind of like
But,
average or whatever. Yeah.
Sometimes when Trump does stuff, it's to get you motivated to do something.
What do you
don't
mean?
Like what he's saying, you don't like that somebody's saying that we're dead last. Well, then do something to make it that we're not dead last.
Right. Well, and it's such a hard topic, dude, because there are a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about and then get so fired up about things that they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, if you're taking an abject point of view, our education has dwindled, right? Whether you want to talk about the city, the state, the college level, and the reason you can, one way of confirming that is, you want to know one of the things that happened to me when I was in grade school, when I was like in middle school. One of the things that one of the things that
Hey, he's there.
yeah, he just requested and then it went away. I was gonna say something and I don't remember. Oh, okay, yeah. So one of the things that my teachers used to do when I was in school was to help the kids that didn't know as much or do as well as all the other kids on the test. They would do what's called a curve. You ever heard of a curve? When you curve a grade? Okay, so you basically, what a curve is you take the top grade and you take the bottom grade and you merge them together, so you get so the person that got a lower grade gets a higher grade and the person who had the higher grade gets a lower grade. That's like communism 101. Like, dude,
100% is an A, okay? But the highest grade was 85% was actually B. So now you drop that A down to 85%.
yeah.
And just drops that weight all the way down the line. That's the thing.
Yeah, T said he remembers that. Yeah, so it happened to him. Yeah, that's not bullshit. And now, if we want to say, like, dude, let's be real, P-Rock. Did you ever hear of the word curved grade when you were in school? Was that a thing that existed?
Yeah, only when I got into maybe high school. That was about it.
Oh, really? So it existed even back then? That kind of surprises me. I won't lie.
It was the 80s. So you got to remember your those DOE started with Jimmy Carter in '79.
Yeah.
So it was only like 8 years in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Marty, if you want to come up here, bro, we're just having a relaxed show. We're not even really getting into the thick of things. We're just kind of kicking back and hanging out. But no pressure. If you don't want to, trust me, no pressure. I understand. So I guess if I'm talking about like what do I believe about the DOE, if we're just like, I think that federal funding needs to exist for schools, right? Like, that's something that you have to have. Otherwise, you're gonna have schools that go under within the first year. And schools are one of those things that, especially public schools, they don't make money. Every year, you're spending more money on it, and that's part of taxes. And it's
You get a point there too, but anytime that they want more money, they say we need it for education, but the money never gets to the education.
education or Ukraine or you know.
gotta go to Ukraine before it goes to the education.
Yeah. What's up, T? How you doing, man? I think this is the first time we've had you on the show.
No, it is. I wasn't even trying to request. I was trying to like the line. And,
Wow.
Yeah, I can't hear you, T. Like, if you can get closer to your phone or something.
Yeah, he's got a lot of.
I didn't. Okay, P Rock, don't say anything. T, try it one more time.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, it's like P Rock said. You just got a lot of echo in the back, but it's okay. It's all right.
I just wanted to say, keep working, y'all. And I was just checking in on y'all. I was trying to like the line, and I guess I requested.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. You're good. Well, dude, thank you. Thank you for supporting, dude. I hope everything's going good for you. You still working at Penske?
Yeah, man. So I tried to put it in the chat. I got good news this week. I should be going to another shop and actually doing work like valve covers and wheel seals and brakes and everything because that's shop is struggling.
Yeah.
And 6 months, I'll come back to my home shop and I'll be at a take two.
Oh. Well, there you go, dude. Hell yeah. So I guess they tried to stick you with all the crap that nobody wanted to do, and then giving you basically no jobs.
Yeah, oil changes, man.
Yeah, dude. I hate to say it, bro. That's how it goes with those dealerships. You get the older guys in there. They don't want to give you the good jobs. They want to give you the bullshit that don't pay nothing.
Yep, bullshit. So I went to my boss and did my due diligence, how I am, and the option came available.
Yeah. Aren't schools funded by property taxes? Like property taxes specifically? Nothing else?
No, part of the property tax.
Oh, okay. So Marty, I'm a little confused on that. What do you mean? Like I thought all taxes were going into education as part, if you're going to talk about things that go into taxes, roads, schools, people to eat while they're at school. Oh, Cole just left? Yeah. Okay. He didn't even say anything. I thought he was going to finish the movie. But all of those things, let's see, what else? Teachers, buses, shit that you and I aren't going to fork out a check for. Things that they basically say you have no option but to pay for this because we know nobody wants to actually send money to these things. Even though they need them, nobody wants to. Me personally, if they ask me personally, hey, would you rather pay a lower amount of taxes or would you rather, oh, that was crazy. The amount of sound that was coming through when he muted his mic, it was like totally different. Do you mind paying less taxes and you might get, less potholes filled or whatever? I might end up saying, yeah, because honestly, in Nashville, there's potholes everywhere, literally everywhere. You cannot get away from them. And they're on the same roads because the same trucks drive the same roads. So if you ask me,
That part drives me nuts only for the fact that it was only 4 or 5 short years ago they had to increase the gas tax to help with the roads.
yeah, exactly.
That money.
Exactly. And then I don't know if you heard about the Strip in New York. That was a street that they were basically saying that if you drive on the street, you have to pay a tax. I wish I knew the name of the street, but Trump got rid of it. And dude, Democrats are losing their minds. It's like, dude, they were like, this was a $10 billion business that you just got rid of. It's like, what do you mean a $10 billion business? $10 billion of stolen fucking money because these people are going to work? What do you mean? You know what to me, you cannot include revenue like a bill that's going to straight up tax your citizens. You can't say, how dare you get rid of it? It was going to make us this much money and blah, 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 blah. It's like, sure, but are your people happy? Do they want that? Can they afford that? I mean, most people living in New York, if you're living in that part of New York, you're probably doing all right. I'll be honest. But that's not to say that.
No, that's not the point. I mean,
Exactly.
it's still the fact that they're doing it.
Exactly. And let's say, you're a taxi cab driver and these people who work at these businesses don't want to own cars because it's New York. Now you got to pay that fee how many times in a day just to go up and down the street, Mr. Live. What's going on, Mr. Live? How are you doing tonight?
Yo,
So
it's swinging.
I hear it. I hear it. Do you think the DOE should be abolished? Is it a good idea?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So why do you believe that?
Listen, as long as they been up, I'm 39 years old, all right? So I've been in school for a while, you know what I mean? Have I seen them do anything for me or none of my kids? So, like, for real.
Wait, what do you mean like they haven't done things for your kids?
What has the Department of Education done for me or my kids?
Well, they fund schools. Like, do your kids go to public
No.
school?
No. I'm going to tell you what fund schools, lotteries, and state taxes.
Well, yeah, it's a part of it. Yeah, right.
No. What does the Department of Education directly have to do with me?
I don't think you're listening to what I said.
I heard you.
Did they?
Listen to what I said.
Do your kids go to public school?
Yes.
Okay, then they have been helped by the DOE. DOE,
Because the DOE is dismantled, but school is still up.
it is not dismantled. Do you know what
So
Congress
make it make
is?
sense.
I'm not coming down on you. I promise. I swear. I'm being honest. It has not been
Make it make
dismantled.
sense. The Department of Education was abolished yesterday?
It was okay. All right.
When was it abolished?
I'm not even gonna talk to that guy. Crusoe, what's going on, brother? How you doing? And if you're wondering why, anybody watching, if you're wondering why I banned him, because he was very obviously intended on starting an argument with me and not listening to anything that I said. Oh, look at him. He's upset in the comments. Get blocked. Anyway, what's going on, Crusoe? How you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you, buddy?
Oh man, I can't complain. What you got for us?
So I'm just kind of curious. So, why do you think that the Department of Education be funded through the government?
Yeah, let me
instead
bust in
of
that
the state?
fucking poopy asshole.
Anyway, what'd you say?
I was saying, why do you think that the Department of Education be funded through the government instead of the state?
Well, okay, so I want to understand your question. Are you saying like why do I believe that it should be federally funded instead of like each state funds it like through their own taxes? Okay, well, the reason I even put this up is because if you're going to get rid of the DOE, you have to replace it with exactly what you're talking about. You have to replace it immediately with programs in each and every state that specifically handles what taxes and what percentages goes to public education. And it's going to be a rough road, right? I mean, and there's a lot of rough roads that's going on with Trump right now, like the tariffs, right? So like the upfront costs are going to go up, but then in the long term, you bring exporters here, you bring investments. So I don't think right now is a good time to do this. If you're going to do this, I think you should wait maybe a year or two because for the simple fact that our country is going through a lot of change right now.
To back it up a couple of years.
Do what?
So, when the government decided to change over from state to federal funding, everything switched over okay. But now here we are today, and now it seems that it's an issue.
Well, it was two things. One, I don't know how smooth it was because I wasn't around. It was the 80s. But two, it was the 80s. Okay, you had a lot less people in school in general. You had a lot less problems like Gerrymandering was a thing, but it wasn't as rampant as it is now. There's a lot of, like, if you take a look at Baltimore, that's a good example of inner city schools. Or okay, Nashville is a good example. Inner city schools who, let's say you give them the extra funding because you say that they haven't had the proper funding, that's why the school's doing poorly, and you give them extra funding and they do just as poorly, if not worse, than they did the last few years. To me, the money isn't the problem. To me, teachers don't get paid enough. Teachers,
And I agree.
and
So I was
okay, go
I
ahead.
was
Sorry.
talking to somebody earlier today, and we were debating on this. But so I went to school for business management and culinary.
Yeah.
The individual that I was talking to, they went for paralegal.
Okay.
So she was telling me that she spent about like $7K
Okay.
for her quarterly. But here's my thing. So if you had 10 students in her class for paralegal for $7K, that's $70,000.
Yeah.
So do you really think it takes $70,000 to teach 10 people?
Oh, of course not. No. So is this?
Exactly.
Are we talking about like a university or like a something higher than high school, like education wise?
More university.
Okay. All right. So my personal opinion. Oh, he's gone. I don't know what happened. I didn't kick him. I swear, you guys, it wasn't me. My personal opinion on universities is they are a for-profit revenue service, just like currently how the police system works. It's a revenue service. They're there to make money. They're not there to teach anybody. I mean, granted, let me take that back. You have professors who care about their job, and you have people who want to do their job the right way. And at the very top, you have people who own the college who look at it as a business. Okay, and
Yes.
and that's the unfortunate truth. We have a money problem with school where, okay, it's kind of like the federal government. The more money you spend, the more money you're allocated the next year. So if you don't spend all of your money, you won't get the same funding that you will next year. You'll actually probably get less, okay? So it incentivizes waste. So even the money that does go to schools sometimes gets wasted in the name of they don't want to lose out on federal funding for the next year.
And that's why the biggest problem is the waste.
Yeah. Marty said Congress is who. Okay, let's go back. I missed a few comments by Marty. Everybody's echoing real bad. Still, P-Rock, are they still echoing really bad?
Yes, and I can't even understand what Chris just said. So
Are you shitting me?
no,
Is anybody else having audio problems? Anybody in the comments, please help me out here. Crusoe, are you having audio problems?
A little bit echo.
Jesus, you got to be shitting me right now. Fuck me. Is that better? Somebody say some stuff.
How about now?
Any better, P-Rock?
well, if you get from him saying things 4 times down to 2,
Oh no, a lot of echo.
A lot of echo? Jeez, you got to be shitting me, right? Guys, I don't know what could be echoing. Guys, I don't.
do you have an equalizer type thing there?
Is that any better? Is that better? Are y'all hearing each other now? Crusoe? That's better? Okay, Crusoe, say like hi, how are you? Have a great Friday. Okay, is that better? Is that better, P-Rock? Oh my, you got to be shitting me right now. Oh my god, dude, this is not what I need. Shit.
Marvel, say something.
Somebody, yeah. So, I need y'all to talk. Just keep talking so I can test this stuff. Just say things. Okay. All right. Try that. Is that any better?
A little better.
Is that better?
Any better?
Absolutely, yeah.
We're good.
Oh, there you go.
I don't hear an echo. So
Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Thank you guys.
What was that
Holy-
all about?
Dude, don't ask me because I don't know.
Goddamn TikTok.
Yeah, we're good. We're good now. Show's back on. All right, everybody. Now start yelling at each other. No, I'm just kidding. So, all right. So I think we're on the same page mostly as far as the fact that can we all agree that the DOE is not the DOE might play a part in the faulty education system that we have. But they are not specifically to blame for all of the things that have happened. Can we agree on that?
I agree with the DOE, but the problem is I think that the DOE should not be responsible for all 51 states. It should more or less be individual based on the states.
Do
I
you
agree with that.
do you think it could
100%.
be like the representatives, House of Representatives, where say you have
Yes,
a DOE
because
like
the
federal,
thing
but
is
you have a
that-
representative?
Yes, because the thing is, if I lived in Manhattan, and I'm just only playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But if I lived in Manhattan and my daughter went to New York State University,
Mm-hmm.
New York State University has a lot more to go to than the New York State of Illinois.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Chuck
You know
Gibson.
what I mean? It's going to be a huge difference.
Chuck Gibson, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Shit. So what do you think? Is abolishing the DOE a good idea?
That's a fucking no.
Oh, okay, all right. That's a different one.
That will be the dumbest thing for America.
Okay, all right, and tell us why you believe that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to go private.
What do you
Does
mean?
anyone know what Department of Education really do?
Yeah, funding.
Okay, they're funding and what else?
I don't know what.
They're putting money
They
up.
do three things. You got one right, you need two more.
Tell me what they are, because I don't know them.
Okay, Department of Education, it's actually a bunch of small things, but it turns into three big things.
Okay, what
One
are they?
is funding.
Okay.
Two is to make sure all states give disabled kids who a fair education.
Okay.
And three, to make sure that colleges, when students are applying for loans, Department of Education helps them find loans through the federal government, if not from other programs outside the federal government.
Okay.
So here's what's going to happen if you destroy the Department of Education. One, Donald Trump cannot destroy the Department of Education without Congress approval.
Right. Okay. So just before we go down that road, can I ask you a question? I'm asking you this because I actually just asked Crusoe this. If let's say he got rid of the DOE or just replaced it with something different, and it was similar to what we have with the House of Representatives, where it's a federal agency, however, you have representatives from your state based off of your population in public schools. How would you feel about that?
No, don't do it.
Or why not?
Because states already control public education.
They make the curriculum, correct, right? But I'm saying like advocating for funding specifically, and
Because some congressmen, correct. Now, here's the thing. I know there's Trump supporters in here, and there's Republicans and Democrats that might be listening.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There are some congressmen who wants to take away public education and take them into charter schools and private schools.
when you say them, like, do you mean all kids?
Like, meaning from pre-K all the way to 12.
Okay, you're
Private
saying they want them to be in a
No,
private.
Some congressmen wants to destroy public schools and give control of the education system from state to private.
Okay,
school.
but the only problem with that is where does the tax money go? Do these business
tax
owners just
money-
keep it?
Say what?
Are the new, like, say we go down that route, are the new business owners of these private schools just going to keep the money?
No, they're not going. If you're destroying Department of Education, you're not funding the state no more. You're not funding the federal government's not funding the state for education no more. So the state has to figure out where they're going to get the money to uh
Right. But you're
fund
saying,
these voucher programs.
but you're saying private. You're saying if they get rid of the DOE, then they want to replace it with private schools so they can make money. Is that what you're saying, or am
Yes.
I okay? So by that logic, we pay taxes into the DOE that goes into schools, right? Okay,
Correct.
so these people would be making money from these kids who pay to go to these private schools, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you're following. Okay, so what I'm saying is all that extra money that's now going to that private company that those kids require, you have to go to school, okay? You have no choice. Are those new businesses going to be required to pay taxes, or do you think the government would just say no, just keep the money. Just do whatever you want with it. It's your money.
They're probably going to do two things. They're probably going to keep the money to invest it within the school, or they're going to give back a percent back to the government. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Well, Chuck, I've got only one problem with all this. First off, you're not going to get rid of the public school system, okay?
You are.
But no, calm down. Just listen to me here. Hear me out.
Okay.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Now, you got to remember this started in 1979 with Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
I went to school before 1979. I ain't going to disclose my age. But-
Old.
Smart ass. But
I
anyways,
didn't say that, but okay.
but anyways, we had public schools way before that. This whole
Yes,
thing was an
It's
experiment
because,
from the
it's
get-go.
because I know, because it was controlled by the county, if not by the county. No, by the town. If it wasn't controlled by the town, it was controlled by the county.
It was controlled by the state.
And some schools were controlled by the state.
Right.
But also, here's the thing. I don't know where you're from. I don't know what schools you went back in the day. But what I've heard was some schools were controlled by towns. Like, for example, my grandmother lived in North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina. If you told me what year she graduated from high school, I can't even tell you. But it was old. It was before 79. She said there were some schools when she grew up, there were some schools that communities got together and created their own schools because because North Carolina did not invest in certain communities of schools.
Right, but you said that, this is a fact, by the way, that states. Thank you, Geoff. That states make their own curriculum, right? So,
Yeah, correct.
so it's the same thing essentially. As what you just described, then is what's going on now. The only difference is it's not a small city or a small town. It's
No,
It's a big town.
What's going to happen is, in my personal opinion, I'm not speaking for everyone else. I'm speaking for myself.
Okay.
They're going to do the same thing to public education what they're doing to the state prisons.
Which is
Meaning, it's going to be instead of states controlling public schools,
Yeah,
It's going-
privatized.
it's going to be controlled by private companies.
Yeah.
if we get rid of the DOE, we're not going to replace it with anything like federally,
No,
is
we're
what you're.
not.
Okay. All right. I'm following you.
So what's going now? I'm not talking crazy. I'm just looking at facts.
Yeah, we're
because-
listening. We're listening.
Because back then the states and federal government controlled the jail system.
Hmm.
But in time they start giving it to the private sector. And that's what's going to happen with public schools.
Okay.
It's going to turn from public schools to now it's going to slowly
Well,
be controlled by
Other
companies.
other than I'm going to be honest with you, other than the fact that curriculums would have to be looked at by some kind of third party organization somewhere, whether it be another school from another state, I don't know how that would work. Other than curriculums, as long as we made these private owners that own these schools pay a percentage into taxes from the money that they've earned, I don't. Me personally, I don't see the problem with that.
But are they going to? But here's the thing: these companies aren't going to pay the taxes.
Well, if you force them to, I'm saying if you sign it into law, along with the DOE being abolished, going through Congress, in the same bill, it's mandated if you own a private education business, you have to pay a certain percentage of what you make into taxes. That
Okay.
makes sense, right?
It does. Yes, you're correct. You're 100% correct on that.
Hmm.
But here's the thing: the Congress and Senate can change the tax plan to where if you go to private schools, you don't have to pay a lot of taxes back. And that's
Okay,
what
but
fair
that's
does.
fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, are you talking about the owner or the students and their parents not paying less
All,
taxes?
all, no, parents and students aren't going to pay. I'm talking about the owner.
Okay, so all right. Let me say this: if they did that, okay, if they got rid of the DOE and they made education private and it was a
Hmm.
business, and then they
Hmm.
took the amount of tax revenue that they're going to lose from getting rid of public education, thank you, Asar, and applied it to, thank you, Chuck, to, shit, I lost my train of thought. If they applied it to shit, God damn it, what did I say before that? And I lost my train of thought. What was I
I know
saying?
we were talking about the taxes of the owners.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so if they got rid of the DOE and the tax, and they found out, okay, we're going to lose this amount of tax revenue from getting rid of public education, and they applied that same tax and figured out, okay, we have this many private educators right now in the country, and it's going to change, so we're going to have to update it probably yearly. And we get a baseline of how many of those schools exist, so we can get a national average of what every single one of those private educators are going to have to pay into taxes, so that way we don't lose any tax revenue. If they made it a smaller percentage simply for the fact that they're private businesses, I would disagree with that, and I would have a problem with that. And I'm going to tell you that personally, Chuck. But what I would hope our government would do is get rid of the DOE, an institute, like I said, you take the national average of how many private educators want to go into business, and you would have the richest of the rich first, right? Your Jeff Bezos, because they would jump right on it. That's a lot of money that they would make for doing basically nothing. And as long as they made them pay a fair share, I, you know what I mean?
Well, here's my question I have for you.
Yes.
You're correct. You're correct on that. I agree with what you just said. But here's my question I have for you.
Okay.
And these are also for the people who's listening as well.
Yep.
Okay, so if the public schools are all, if the majority of them goes private,
Hmm.
how are parents who can't afford voucher program schools, how can they afford it?
That's a good question.
How
Um,
can the state help those parents who can't afford
The answer,
voucher schools?
the unfortunate answer to that would be government subsidies, and the problem that you run into by having that answer, the reason I say unfortunately, is because you're basically in the same problem that you were with the DOE, um,
But
and
it
and
wasn't
that's
the
kind of my
DOE,
argument. I'm
it
just
was the
saying
owners.
that's kind of my argument is this is unnecessary right now. I'm just going to be honest. Getting rid of the DOE, in my opinion, is unnecessary right now.
Okay,
Grants, the
so
grants,
why
yeah.
are we destroying DOE then? That's the bigger question. What was the
I have the
goal?
same question. Actually, Chuck, I have the very same question. That is my criticism is I wish Trump would tell us more. Like tell us specifically why you want to do this because me as a voter for Trump and I'll say that I'm not ashamed.
I
I'm
vote for
fair.
Kamala Harris.
And
I'm
that's
going to
fair.
say that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I have a problem with that because if you want to do that, that's a big thing to do. Like that's a federal institution that gives a lot of people money to go to school. Sometimes it works out and they go to college and they become great students, and then sometimes they don't. And there's really no way of knowing that. And I don't think if Trump is going to do this, it needs to be in 2 years from now.
Yeah, but the question is like you're destroying Department of Education. Okay, I mean you're demolishing Department of Education,
Yeah.
but you're not really telling both sides, Trump supporters and non-Trump supporters, why are you destroying Department of Education? What's so special about it?
I agree. I agree, Chuck.
He's
Go,
telling his
go
sorry, he's
ahead.
telling his supporters that they control the education system for all America, which is incorrect. It's federal aid to schools, and and they're supposed to keep up equality,
Yeah.
and help out disabled. It's not education, and I don't know why he spread that, and people believe it, and that's why.
Well, and to be fair, I actually, you guys weren't here earlier, and we looked up where the U.S. ranks in education in the entire world, and apparently Trump said we're dead last in the world, and we're not. So
No, we're not. We're top 20.
you know, so I mean, look, that's a fair criticism. Like he shouldn't say those things if they're not
Okay,
true.
now here's the thing.
Mhm.
If you're going to demolish Department of Education and you're saying it's because fraud, waste, and abuse, why aren't you going after the Department of Defense?
Well, I don't think that's why. They're getting. I haven't heard that. Maybe you have and you saw it somewhere. Me
No,
personally, I haven't.
I'm just giving an example. If he's going to go around now, since he signed this executive order, says I'm destroying it because there's fraud, waste, and abuse. Why didn't you go after the Department of Defense?
That's I disagree with that sentiment, but just shit. I was gonna say something else and I forgot. Why don't they do the Department of
He did
Defense?
send Doge after the Department of Defense, if you recall.
Say
Uh,
what?
I said he did send Doge after the Department of Defense. If you can
Yeah,
recall,
but
they're still trying to get
he
in there.
didn't say nothing negative. Elon Musk hasn't said nothing negative about Department of Defense.
That's because he couldn't get in there. They're still trying
Well,
to get in.
right, exactly. You can't if you're in the middle of an investigation, you can't openly come out against the people you're investigating. Then you have a conflict of interest. What's going on? Oh, good lord. What's going on, Geoff? How you doing? You got some noise going on back there, brother.
You destroyed Department of Defense. It's going to hurt. a lot
A
lower
guy,
taxes.
I'm so sorry, Geoff. I don't know. It sounds like you work at like a airport or something. You got all kinds of stuff going on behind you. Nobody can hear you. I do appreciate you coming in here and trying to talk to us, though. I very much appreciate that. If you don't know what a lavalier mic is, I highly recommend you invest in a lavalier mic. It would do you wonders. But anyway, soft pickler. Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead and say your piece, and I'll have to get you out of here, Geoff, just because of the background noise. But I want to hear what you got to say.
I think from what I was seeing, there was reports of was they were using the Department of Education for like money laundering. They were like taking money from like this and doing it to a contractor, and then they were supplying it back to like the Department of Education, just doing it for stuff like this.
That's the first I've heard of that, actually.
Yeah, that's the first I ever heard of that too. I'm sorry.
But I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying me personally, I haven't seen that. Asar, has there ever been any sentiment to get rid of DOE before Trump? I don't know.
Reagan said it one time, but then he realized because it was only 2 years in effect. It started in 1953, I think, as Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. And then 1980, they took it off and separated it as an individual department so they could fund it because they thought education was important, which it is. And then when Reagan came along, he didn't understand it fully, so he said he wanted to abolish it. But then when they learned about it more, and he decided to change his mind, and he did not want to do that. That's
Okay.
the only president that has spoken upon that.
Thank you, Rue.
The only department that outside of Trump that another president tried to destroy was Department of HUD was George Bush, the son, not the father, because he realized that HUD was just too complicated for anyone to fix. So he wanted to give it back to the states.
Okay. All right. Um, I don't even know where to go with that because we kind of went off of the DOE thing. Um, so I'd like to hear more about the money laundering thing, only because not even to say that it's all true, just for the interesting factor, because Doge's saying they found all the fraud that they did find already. I would be interested to know if that had any part of what's going on right now, because like I said, we haven't heard much from Trump on this subject at all, other than the fact that he wants to get rid of it. Marty, why are their inspector generals gone? Why didn't they catch any fraud? So if you're talking about the General Milley thing, that's a good point. That Marty, I kind of want to not challenge you, but throw my wit at you a little bit. So General Milley got pardoned for crimes he has not been tried for, crimes that he has not been accused of. To that point, it makes me wonder what made him think Trump would have something on him to where he could stick that to him, or where he felt like he needed to stick that to General Milley, because General Milley's credibility, in my opinion, was already questionable. But when that happened, I was kind of like, all right, this dude's got some secrets. He's got some skeletons in his closet for sure. I don't know how you pardon someone that's not being investigated. Well, and that's it.
I think.
Well, go ahead.
I think they knew Trump was going to have a vendetta because he lost in 2020. Because he already stated that he was going to go after everybody. And you can see, like, by his suing of the pollster lady, which is crazy, because that's freedom of speech, and that's what she, like, thought was going to happen. Like, suing somebody over that and then going after news stations and all this. He has a vindictive personality, and he's going after everybody that's against him.
Well, I hate to say it, Soft Pickler. He did get pew-pewed at, more than once. And I'm
let's talk about the sham trials too.
The Russia collusion hoax, Adam Schiff, he's going to be investigated. But for some reason Biden didn't give him a pardon. Not sure what that was about. But I feel like you had something you wanted to respond with, Soft Pickler.
No, I'm just saying, I think everybody in government, like, I work for, like, the state, right? So we have, I hate most state employees because most of them are lazy as hell. They just do bare minimum, try and get by. When you take that up to the government level, my wife has worked for government, and depending on the department, you have people that their life is that department, right?
Yeah.
And so I think within each department, there's going to be fraud. There's going to be criminals. But the thing is, like, with this fraud, there's no names being brought forth. There's no accusations. There's no criminal justice being performed on these frauds. They're just saying it's fraud and then just throwing it to the side, and everybody's like, yeah, it's fraud.
To play devil's advocate, Soft Pickler, I kind of agree with you that I would like to see. Now, it's early, right? And I want to be fair to both sides. It's very, very early, okay? And we don't know, but I would like to see a detailed receipt, an itemized list of the things that they found.
Show detailed receipt because it's unclassified information.
Well, they need to unclassify it if they want support, because otherwise,
it's just like the Jeffrey Epstein.
I just want accountability. If they're saying there's fraud, somebody needs to be held accountable.
I agree, but like I said, it's still early, guys. Like even a loss, like, okay, just to say, my parents had a lawsuit, right? It went like 8 or 9 years, and it wasn't even anything. I mean, it was a serious topic, don't get me wrong, but it's not a federal case. You know what I mean? These things take time.
But even with a federal case, you still have the right to know what the case name is. You don't have to have any information, but the case name could be like,
sure, but let's say like Elon Musk found dirt on a specific person, right? And he comes out and he says, "This is what we found in this department. Therefore, this person knows that it's them. They're the ones that did it." And they can destroy evidence, right? That's the same tactic that police use. That's the reason that if they're chasing somebody, you don't see it on the news until they're right behind the person. Otherwise, there's a chance that they see it. You know what I mean?
But knowing Trump, he likes to be the first one to say everything. Yeah, you too.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I would assume Trump would be he said have a good night.
Oh, okay. All right. See you, Chuck. Sorry you didn't get a word in there for a minute, but No. You're good. We're having a good show. We're all having a good time here. But sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta turn my alerts off on my glucose monitor. Okay, boom. There we go. So getting back to what we were talking about. If he replaced Geoff hasn't gotten a word in a minute. If you want to get a word in, let me know. If he replaced the DOE with another federal agency, essentially, that worked similar to the House of Representatives, where based off of your population of public school kids, I guess you would say, that you have in each district, determines how many representatives you have. Would you think something like that would be good, or would you rather he just keep the Doge or DOE, not Doge?
I mean, if it's not broken, keep it. I mean, if they really think it's messed up, they shouldn't get rid of it. They should figure out a way to make it work.
This
is going towards children.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Towards our future. If you're going against our future, then we're gonna fail, and that's what it seems like it's happening with this DOE.
Then, go ahead, P-Rock. I feel like you got something you want to throw in there.
Once again, before 1979, we had education, and we had a better education than what we got now.
Again, the Department of Education was started in 1953, sir. It was part of a different department. It was part of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare.
Did not come into play.
It sure did. It was in play in the 50s, sir. It was in play in the 50s. It was in play in the 50s, sir. They just separated it into its single department rather than being clumped in with the other two.
So what was? Well, let's. I can figure this out right now. So what was the program originally called in 1950?
I think it was always the Department of
Health, Education, and Welfare, I believe the name is.
Okay, created. It was created April 11th, 1953. What is the history of the Department of Education and Welfare? U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare was a cabinet-level agency from 53 to 79. It was established by Reorganization Plan Number 1 of 1953, effective in 1953. Its mission was to administer federal and federal state programs in public health, education, and social. Okay, well, I'm going to be honest. I think you both are right. I think it was partly started in the 59, and I think it became something completely different in the 80s. I think both of you guys are right on that.
I think it ought to go back to the way it was in 1953.
But the thing is, Joe, it doesn't state what the schools, like what we're supposed to specifically teach. What it does is it gives federal aid towards programs and helps keep equality within the schools.
Right. And I'm going to be honest. I know Trump hasn't come out and said this.
Another question, which is, why was Michelle Obama allowed to change the school lunches to something the kids wouldn't even eat?
Crickets. Okay.
There's corruption in it. It has to be taken care of.
Somebody dropped something.
Uh-oh.
But
Yeah,
go ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
Then what was the question? What was the question that he asked? It was something about food and what was it?
Why was Michelle Obama allowed to go in and change the school lunches to something that the kids would not even touch?
But she didn't change it. She was giving what we should do.
Oh no, she changed it, brother. I was there. I remember. It sucked. Dude, she changed it hard. Dude, you used to be able to get not a gallon. You used to be able to get one of those Purity chocolate milks that was like this tall, maybe like, I don't know, a pint, something like that. Probably less than that, actually. Probably like 20 milliliters, actually. But you could get one of those chocolate milks at lunch every day and buy as many as you want. After she came in, nope. You can buy one thing of True Moo, and it was in a stupid little carton, and it sucked because I was always thirsty, and I had to go drink a ton of water after lunch. I remember that. Sorry, I know.
Here's an example of how
that
it's not being played up the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, but
You're
we
right.
had
There's
that
certain,
when I
there's
was
certain
like a
rules and
kid.
regulations that they're supposed to enforce, and I understand it. It's not a problem. From the rules I've read, yes, it was a good thing. But the problem is, people are taking it above and beyond. They're finding the loopholes, and they're messing things up, messing the education system up. Have you ever taken a school book from the 1940s or 1950s and opened it up and read it? There's a lot more information
And
in that
like,
book
okay,
than
then
we
why
have
do we have
today.
why is there like a educational statistics where each state does better than the other? Like you have like one that's at the bottom 50, one that's at number one. That's because the states still control the education and how it's taught. And let's just say for like Florida, we had the Florida writing. It was like FCAT. It was like Florida CAT. They did get rid of that, which I think was stupid. And they also got rid of something else that we had to take when I was in school, which I think was stupid. Because there's the one thing I think that let me say the one thing that messed us up is no kids get left behind. That was a
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree with
Oh,
you.
everybody. I think
That's the main issue.
everybody agrees on that.
That's like the question
That-
I asked when I
that's
first
the
got
problem.
on: is how are kids graduating, go to college, but can't read? How in the hell's that happening?
That's no kids get left behind, and social media. They allow like kids bringing phones and getting brain rot from just staying on social media. I believe it's not Department of Education. I believe it's social media, which Trump and Elon they know controls people. And then I think it was no kids get left behind. I think if we get rid of that and allow no social media in school at all, when you're in school, take every single phone away. I think our education would soar.
I agree with everything that
to-
you said except the very end where you said take their phones. Only because parents pay for those phones. Yeah. if I pay for my son's phone and you take his phone, I got a problem. But
then also what you were saying about the SCAP test. Bring those back. The only reason those were taken out to begin with was because it was shown that the teachers
I want to hear what Geoff has to say because nobody else can hear anything unless. Go ahead, Geoff.
I think Robert Kennedy is already trying to get that implemented with the no phone policy. But as you said too, though, it's kind of wrong too that you pay for the kids to flip the phones. They should have, especially for the active shooters and bombs.
Well, right, and even more than that, like, well, okay, here's a personal anecdote, right? I don't give people that I work with my phone number for the simple fact that it is not a company phone, right? So if you call me after hours, I ain't answering. If you call me after hours, I'm blocking your number, okay? Same thing. I pay for that phone, okay? The moment you put your hands on that phone as a teacher, you just crossed the line. Like, just being real. Unless my child is being unruly and is not behaving and is disobeying everything that you tell him, yeah, take that phone, absolutely. But you know what I'm
But I
saying?
tell you what, on the topic of the phones, from what I've read, what they want to do is like have a box at the entrance of the classroom, and the kids put their phones in the box, and then they go to school, go to the class. After class, they collect their phones and go on to wherever they're going to go.
Well, but see, in P-Rock, I'm not going to lie, even that I'm a little iffy on because you got to make exceptions for some students because, like, okay, for me, let's say they've got a glucose monitor. Okay, the only way they're going to know that their blood sugar is low is by their phone dinging. If they don't have their phone and their blood sugar is low and they pass out in the middle of class, boom, you just got a lawsuit.
Well, then you got a medical exemption. That's all.
Sure, but you know how kids are. Well, Timmy's got his phone and he gets to play on it. Well, Timmy's got diabetes, but that doesn't matter.
You don't have what he promised he has. Leave it alone.
Sorry, what, Geoff?
Don't they have like different, like a different thing inside the phone that you can use on?
I'm so sorry, brother. You're gonna have to type that in chat because I don't know what you said.
Don't they have like a different thing inside the phone that we can use?
Yeah, okay, so it depends. So some diabetics are on what's called a insulin pump, and essentially it pumps insulin to you all the time, 24/7, and it never stops. And then you have basically the shot, right, or the thing. I can't. I don't know what to say so that I don't get banned. I hope I don't get banned. But you have the other method.
Insulin pen.
Yes, thank you. And if you use that method, no, there is no other means of alerting you. It's just your phone. Are there third-party applications? Maybe, but should a family really have to pay for another piece of tech, even though it literally Bluetooths to their phone? That's super inconvenient for literally no reason. If that child's not being a problem, don't harm that child's safety and well-being just because other people don't know how to behave in class. I'm just being honest. So you were trying to text.
I mean, there's a way. There's always. I mean, phones are obviously going to be. You know, I
Yeah.
need that because emergencies. What if there's somebody in the pew-pewing? You know.
But I
School,
agree.
like
I agree with you. And maybe there should be a setting, right, that iPhone or whoever releases. And I hate to say that it's not Apple's job, okay? And maybe the government needs to work with Apple. Maybe they need to cut them a check. Hey, institute this program that schools can implement. Dude, even that, I don't know. You'd have to like connect to the Wi-Fi. I don't know. That'd be a whole
But
nother.
I truly believe after social media came out, YouTube, all this, and then the no one gets left behind. That's where we faltered. I don't know why they did that.
I agree with you.
It's crazy.
Well, boys,
Now,
we've
that
got.
makes me wonder if that doesn't stem down to the teachers' unions stating that teachers isn't doing the job that they're supposed to be doing.
And and you know, I'm gonna be honest, dude. How much crap do teachers put up with that they don't have any reason to put up with? Like we've all seen it. You know, we were in public school. I assume most of us were in public school. Like we all saw the unruly kids, the kids who didn't belong in that class, the kids who probably should have been in special ed, but for some reason they never put in freaking special ed. You know what I mean? Like we all were around these kids, and I don't know. What am I trying to say here? Essentially, what I'm trying to say here is every child isn't the same, and one of the biggest problems, like Greeny said, pay teachers more where they'll actually care. That's a big part of it. Kids don't get paid enough. Invite you up. You could request up or either way. But exactly like he said, they don't get paid enough.
Parents send kids to school so they don't have to deal with them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. They're like, thank God this little annoying person is out of my home for 8 hours. What's up, Geoff?
I think I did see something where Trump was one of his campaigns was saying something about homeschool and like paying people like $10,000 per homeschool kid or something.
Greeny, I invited you, and it won't let me invite you again. It's probably on a cooldown. I don't know. Check your stuff, man. Do you not see the big invite? That you know what, dude? Do you normally join lives? You might be banned. Yeah, leave and come back. You might be banned, bro, because if you don't see the little boxes, you probably can't join. Apparently TikTok's been on. Oh, you've never been on one? Oh, well then you might have to request permission. To be honest with you, I don't know.
TikTok's been on the banning spree. They banned my account.
Oh, they banned you?
Yeah.
For what?
Here's Greeny.
Because you can't write idiot, you can't write stupid, you can't write like one brain cell.
Dude,
you can't write any ad hominem.
I saw somebody talking about unalived babies earlier, and they straight up had the M word. They said, A is M. And I was like, dude, and they had like 100 viewers, like 11,000 followers. I'm like, bro, this is some bullshit, bro. They don't even.
It's like that all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, dude. That's why I'm actually live on YouTube and Kick right now, thankfully. So,
Yeah, TikTok's on some other shit.
yeah. If this hits the fan, I've got those other channels, so that's good.
But no, like y'all were talking about like the schools and stuff. I went to a pretty bad school in North Carolina. Like it pretty bad. And man, it's I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I dropped out. I went back and got my, diploma, but I dropped out because I couldn't take it. And the school was bad. Teachers didn't care. You had parents who, like I was saying earlier, they'd send kids to school because they didn't want to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
they'd get in trouble at school. They'd get arrested at school. they, you know, there was a couple guys that I knew that I played sports with. They ended up getting arrested their senior year because they were bringing, you know,
Yeah. Dude,
illicit stuff to school and selling it.
Dude, I had a kid. I played basketball in high school, bro. I transferred schools my senior year to a different part of the town that I'm in. It was a much different part. We'll just put it that way. It was a much different part of town than the one that I was from. And dude, I shit you not, bro. This freshman that he was one of the most quietest kids I'd ever seen in my entire life, bro. I'd never seen him get in any trouble, get in any argument with anybody. I've hardly seen him have a conversation with people. This dude brought a G, you know what I'm saying, to school, a pew to school, and got in trouble for it. And dude, he got hemmed up in the gym, and we had to stop in the middle of practice because this dude, and he's a freaking freshman, man. Like, that's not you. That's not who you are. Like, why do you allow these people to take you into this direction that obviously don't care about your well-being? And then, I know that's kind of a different subject, but getting back onto the point, and then the teachers have to deal with these kind of people who, I'm not talking about the kid who had the pew. I'm talking about the people who influenced him, because guarantee you most of his peers are probably in high school or just freshly got out, because, you know, it's not going to. Anyway, so these teachers deal with these people, and like you said earlier, Greeny, they don't know. Number one, they don't get paid enough. Number two, I don't care if I get paid $1 million a year. I don't know if I deal with some of the crap that these teachers got to deal with. I'm just going to be honest. And you got the ones that go a arm and a leg, a step beyond, to go out of their way for their class and make parties, make events, you know, make themed learning lessons. And those teachers usually end up paying for that out of their own pocket. So you know, it's a sad mix of the DOE. If we're gonna say the DOE is responsible of anything, in my opinion, not anything. If we're gonna say one of the things that they're responsible for is not listening to teachers and not fighting the battle of getting them better wages, honestly, and fair conditions. But
Exactly.
and you know, they have correctional schools. Like, we had a school in my area, that, you know, if you got in trouble a certain amount of times, you had to go to that school. But the problem with the problem with those schools is sometimes kids that don't belong there get thrown there, and then you get mixed up with the kids that definitely belong there or in something worse, and they have to. It's kind of like the jail thing, right? You gotta fight to stay alive, so you get in further trouble and you just stay there longer because you got to fight.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we had the same thing that actually happened to my cousin, believe it or not. I mean, he still wasn't the best, you know, student or anything, but he never really got in trouble at school. But
yeah,
his whole thing is he'd skip all the time. So they would send him there, and then he was like, you know, this is insane. Like, every day there's a fight. Every day there's somebody getting arrested for bringing, you know, a sharp object.
Yeah.
You know, all that mess. I mean, it's insane, man. I personally think it goes back to this. I don't think them eliminating the DOE is going to fix anything. But I think, hopefully, this is what I'm hoping, is that it comes back within a year, but it's basically being tore down to be rebuilt, you know. But at the same time, I look at it too as if, well, if the teachers don't care, obviously the school's not going to do well because the teacher doesn't care. And I think it can all fall back to, well, you know, their wages haven't gone up. You know, if they've gone up, it's been minuscule, you know?
Yeah. And circling back around to Trump, because Trump is the one that actually brought this up and wants to get rid of the DOE. If he replaces it with something better, you know, that'd be good. I don't think right now it might be a good time, but it's like you say. Also, you got a really good mic. I don't know what kind of phone you've got, but Greeny, if you ever want to make another guest appearance, brother, you holler at me, man, because you've got a clear mic, and I like the way that you talk. You get very straight to the point, and you don't hover over and say a bunch of ums.
What kind of phone is this? I think I have an iPhone like 14 plus or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm laying in my bed and
How
it's
the
just
fuck
on
you
my
kick
bed.
me out?
Who? I didn't. Who? George? Oh, what just happened, guys? What the hell? Oh, do you remember George? George?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was in here talking earlier. That was funny.
He said, "Why the fuck you kicked me out?" I don't remember kicking you out. Oh shit. Soft Pickler. So I think you and Greeny are actually pretty. Y'all would be good to like have a little conversation with each other. Because I think you're kind of on the opposite of the. I think you're on the opposite of end of the spectrum, meaning like the fact that Trump hasn't come out and said what he's going to do with the DOE when he gets rid of it. And that's, I think, one of your biggest problems is if he does get rid of the DOE and just abolishes it, that's going to be a big problem. And I think, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that he didn't fully get rid of it, that it was moving back to like some other department, like he was molding it like it used to be.
Okay.
But I just read one thing on that. I don't know if that's true.
Well, okay, that'd be.
But, I mean, I honestly.
Well, one of my criticisms of Trump would be he needs to say that on the national level. He needs to come out and have a press conference and say that, or maybe not even a press conference. Hell, they like to tweet. You can tweet it, you know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know if it's true though.
Yeah.
I think like one individual was saying, I don't know if it was you or the other guy, said like if he gets rid of it and then comes back like a year or two, like they break it down and then rebuild it, I'm okay with that. But I think there should still be some funding going towards some programs, definitely for like disabled children.
You mean like in the years between or like after?
Yeah. There needs to be some sort of funding for certain things like that, like disabled children.
Do you mean in the year or two that the DOE would be getting reestablished, or do you mean once they're done making the new DOE? I'm just curious.
Subsidize it while it's
Now, if I can recall, whenever he made the announcement
back
that
up. So in the lull.
when
gotcha.
he made the announcement that he was doing away with the DOE, there were certain things that were still kept in there, and I think one of those were for the handicapped children and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So that I'm okay with that. I just hope they rebuild and create it rather than just destroying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think most Republicans would agree with you on that. Because, okay, even let's say P-Rock, you think getting rid of the DOE would be good because it's a federal agency, but do you agree that maybe even if we leave it entirely up to the states, there still has to be some kind of streamlined revenue service that is managed by somebody, more than likely the federal government, right? I mean, we could all. Do we agree on that, or do you think it would be more so something like, okay, each state treasury creates their own department that handles the taxes and the funding. You allocate the taxes that all states are going to pay, and then at the end of the year or whenever they decide to do it, April, March, they send all their tax money to the federal government, and boom, they just got their tax money for the year. What do you think?
What do I think? I kind of agree with the other two that if they destroy it, start from the ground up, and rebuild it, okay, that's not a bad thing. I even agree with Soft Pickler where they said that they're going to take it back to where it was in the beginning with the 1953 Department of Education or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The fact remains that the education prior to was so much better than what we got now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you notice, it didn't start until social media and No Kid Gets Left Behind. I believe that's when it started going down.
Yeah, you're right. I remember back in the 80s, social media. I think it was 2020 used to come on every Friday night. And they always had the thing about the dumbing down of America. And that's exactly what it was about.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to I think this is part of the plan. So if you get rid of DOE, and put it to the states, that means states can actually put religion within the schools because it's going to be their choice. I don't agree with that. I don't think anybody should be subjected to one religion. That's why we're here.
That's a fair criticism.
Everything. And so if they do this and then religion starts being put in the school, I think that's the main reason that they're doing this. Because Trump, obviously, if you've watched, I don't think he's religious. I think he's just conforming to it because it draws crowds. I think Trump is more of a showman than he is a president, and that's what people love.
And the short term for what you just said is a grifter, essentially.
I didn't want to say that.
Well, that's
People-
okay. No, that's okay. And you know what? If people get upset at that word, that's like if liberals got upset at snowflake or woke. If you get triggered at words, that's a you problem. Because
gotta
people can
think about
believe
it.
whatever they want.
Y'all got to think about it too. Both sides of the political spectrum, they know how to play their crowd. They know what their crowd.
Oh
likes, they
yeah,
know what
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't.
yeah, for
Just-
sure.
The Democrats aren't. The Democrats are at an all-time low right now. Dude.
Oh yeah, they are crumbling, and I mean
Yeah.
it's
I'm a
wild that
centrist,
they
so,
built. I'm too. I'm more libertarian than anything. Like I just want to be left the hell alone. Like
I think Christopher wants to get a word in. What you got for us, Christopher?
How we doing, everybody?
Hey, we're hanging out, brother. We're chilling. How are you doing, man? Great question. I
I'm
love.
doing well. I do love this conversation about the DOE, and I'm just wondering, like, can we get like a definition of what like the Department of Education does,
Yeah.
and if we get rid of it, who does it affect the most?
Let me see. Let me pick one. Any, meeny, money, mo. Soft Pickler and Joe P. Rock. One of you pick who wants to explain to Christopher what it is. Play
Yeah,
rock,
I mean,
paper, scissors virtually.
Whatever. I don't care. If you want to go, Joe, you can.
Ah, go ahead, soft pickler. You're good.
Okay. Well, I've said before. I mean, the baseline of it is for equality, and also to federally aid programs within the schools. It's not to control the education. They probably do have some form of
It's
like
not
you
equality;
can't-
it's equity.
or no, there's civil rights within it as well.
Yes,
I mean,
but
it makes sure that there's
I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize, but like, there's equity that's involved, right?
no,
Oh, brother, Soft Pickler. I don't know if you walked
course,
into a. I don't know if you walked into a brick room or something, but your signal dropped hard.
Duh.
Oh, your signal is dropping
DEI
hard.
also involved. DEIA.
Soft Pickler. Can you hear me, bro?
Oh, crap. Can you
you're.
hear me?
Yeah. I don't know if you
No,
walked
no,
into a
no.
brick room, but your shit's cutting out.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Oh God, that's not good.
I can hear him.
It's delayed really bad.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hey, hi, are you with us?
I live out in the woods, dude. So
Okay,
this
cool.
shit happens.
Okay, all right, yeah, go ahead.
You have a bird fly by and my
It must have been a hawk. All right, go ahead and repeat what you
Yeah.
said because nobody
No, I'm
heard it.
saying that- yeah, like when you call them like equity, yeah, DEIA is definitely involved when it comes to Department of Education, just because we want to make sure that everybody's treated the same. You don't want to take like disabled kids and make sure like they don't have any education. You want to try and get them up to like where they can possibly get,
Absolutely.
as well as like programs that help fund for certain things. It's not about controlling the education; it's about funding to help make sure that people get educated. Like I said before, I don't know if you're in here. I don't think DOE is the problem. I think it's the no kid gets left behind and social media. I think those are the two main issues that we need to address, not DOE.
And Marty said in the comments, we need to try and self-educate more in SW. I'm not sure what that means. And actually read. I agree with you, Marty. And also, this is what we're doing. We're self-educating right now, right? We're holding each other accountable. We're bringing up sources and facts, and we're not allowing what's the buzzword? Disinformation. We're not allowing disinformation. Okay, so
Opinions.
yeah. We have opinions, but we make it clear when it's an opinion versus a fact. Okay, that's one of the that's what I love most about this. Well, not most, but it's one of the things I love most about this show is the fact that we hold each other accountable and we do not allow lies. So Christopher, did you? Yeah, go ahead. Somebody.
No, I was just seeing if he agreed with what I was saying, if that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was looking like. I'm gonna drop off right now because you all agree with me. We're on the same.
Well, that's
page.
okay. That's okay. So tell us. So let me ask this, because I've asked basically everybody else this except for Geoff. Do you think getting rid of the DOE and replacing it with something that was closer to like the House of Representatives, to where we had elected officials based on the amount of representatives that we have, would you be okay with something like that, or do you think that's pointless and stupid and just keep the DOE?
No, I would say keep the DOE. Um, I honestly believe that like these are just protections or the lowest standards that we're asking for. I do agree with when it comes to my child's education, um, that we need to think about like how do I educate my child for the next 10, 15, 20 years in the future? And I agree that there needs to be a change on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't agree with like the scrubbing of history in the way that we do that. I think that we, at a certain point, like there's a certain point like we're scrubbing history so that we don't acknowledge, what
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and have you ever heard the saying, the victors write the history books?
Yes, for sure.
You
Yeah.
know, so
And
you
don't
know
forget, history repeats itself. You don't know what
that
history
too.
is going to happen again.
That too. That too. Well, guys, we've been going for
We
an hour and a
we
half.
should be teaching the worst of our history.
We
It's gotta be
should.
taught. It's got to be taught so you can learn from it.
Well, yeah,
Yes, for
yeah,
sure. Yes. The
yeah.
Trail of Tears. Is
But what I
going
I
away,
don't
right?
think is I don't think that we should apply things that happened in the past to people that are alive today. And what I mean by that is, okay, um, let's say DEI. Okay, DEI is a small example of trying to implement rules from things that happened years and years and years ago to current day rules that don't apply. Um, and I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I was reading a comment and I kind of lost my train of thought.
One of the things
No,
that's
but
got
like
me,
at a
what I
certain
found out
point, like
today,
DEI means you're unqualified for the position,
And we had a talk about that yesterday.
which is really frustrating to me.
Yeah.
one of the things that got me about the whole thing was that when I found out today that they took civics out of the schools.
Like civics class.
Yeah, civics class.
Yeah,
exactly.
what is civics class? Like
That's where you learn how your governments run, how it works, and so forth and so on.
oh, the government. That's funny you say that because when I went to school, there was no civics class. Civics was part of history. Like literally, they taught me the three branches of government in history class.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When did you graduate, Blake?
I graduated high school in 2017.
Okay, I graduated in 2010. We still had it, but it was definitely getting phased out. Like I think it was my junior year. We had to take it all 4 years. And my junior year, I don't think I even took it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it would have been. I would have loved to take that class. I love learning about government and different forms of government because, in my opinion, there has never been a perfect form of government that has ever existed.
No, there never will be either.
Maybe it'll take a long time. Probably not during our lifetime.
No, like it won't be my children. It'll probably be my children's children probably that would see something, but it won't be anytime soon. There's no way. There's so much corruption and stuff in all levels that it's going to take decades to be able to eradicate.
Oh, Marty's been
They
sending me
literally-
leaks.
There has to be a conversation about like we're deporting individuals in this country, whether they're criminals or not, or illegal or not, but there's no due process, which is definitely an issue, right?
Well, the only thing that's going to back that up about the due process thing is it's going to take months, possibly years. You know what I mean? I mean, it just because of how long our judicial system takes as it is.
No, but what I'm
if-
saying is like I could deport you tomorrow because there's no due process, right? That's the problem I have.
Yeah, I mean, I
We're
could see it from
American-born
that standpoint.
citizens,
Wait,
right?
have you guys heard about this Trump suing 60 Minutes?
Yes.
When did
Oh my god.
when did this come out? I just saw this. Somebody sent me a link just now that's watching the show. I just now heard about this. Why does he want to sue 60 Minutes?
Because they literally just like when Kamala was doing the whole interview with 60 Minutes,
Mhm.
where they took out parts of it to meet the 60 Minutes requirement. He said it was like interfering with election, which it isn't, because Fox News does the same thing to him.
Yes.
So it's ridiculous.
Interesting. Very, very
I
interesting.
think that's why. Don't hold me to that. I'm pretty
Well,
sure that's
it
why, but
No, you're 100%
somebody knows
not.
how. Yeah.
well, in Soft
Okay.
Pickler, I just want to say, somebody earlier, it might not have been anybody on this panel. Somebody said Trump was vindictive earlier. Guys, like you're
Thank you.
absolute. Okay, all right, you're absolutely right. Like, okay, like, bro, I hate to say this, and I'm not justifying it. I promise you, I'm not. But what I'm saying is, we have to call a spade a spade. Okay. They tried to throw this man under the prison. Not only did they try to stick him with stuff, they chose the worst things to try to stick him with and then use that to throw him under the prison. When that didn't work, they pew-pewed him multiple times. That didn't work. Like, dude, yeah, of course he's vindictive. Anybody in the world that has common sense would be vindictive. I'm sorry, even if it's not logical. And I'm not saying he should be. I'm not saying it makes sense. What I'm saying is, bro, yeah, that's who he is. Like,
Okay, what was illogical? Give me like a case.
what's
or
illogical?
Court case.
Suing
yes.
suing this 60 Minutes interviewer. That's illogical.
No. What I'm guessing I'm like in the opposite side. Like, where did Donald Trump get like screwed over by anybody?
Oh,
Let's talk about the
oh,
trial.
yeah. So the Russian collusion, that's one that started in
Okay, that's
2016.
perfect
Let's talk
example.
about how in New York with the when they say he overpriced his properties values to get the loan, but the loan got paid off with interest. Nobody lost money, but it was still a crime.
But he did overprice his loan, right?
Doesn't matter. It's a free country. You're allowed to do stuff like that.
And
If
who
the
was
bank falls for it, that's
who
fine.
was affected by
But
that?
the bank still got paid back.
The question
The bank
was
also
who got
interest
affected
on
by
top
that?
of the loan.
No, who got affected by that?
Nobody.
Nobody. It
Absolutely
was
nobody.
other individuals who were seeking the same
What
loan did not
individuals?
get affected by that.
What individuals?
Other individuals
What
who were
is-
seeking
what
the
other
same
individuals?
loan that he inflated, right? Did not get affected by that.
Nobody got affected by it. Everybody
Of
got paid off.
course they did.
How?
Because he inflated his loans.
But who got affected? Who lost money on that deal?
Yes, there's dozens and dozens. There's
Who?
affidavits.
Well,
on
that's a
this.
fair question.
Yes, it's not that Donald Trump 100% did what he should have done, right?
Mhm.
Does that make it legal? Does that make it right?
Well, legal and right
More
are
than-
two different questions.
No, yes, 100%.
No,
Is it right?
People
No,
do
it
that type of
definitely
stuff
wasn't
every
right,
day.
right? We can agree that it wasn't right, right?
I have no problems with it. If I want a loan, I would say my place is worth $1
The
million,
difference-
and the bank's
Yeah.
saying, "Okay, we'll give you the loan with a 20% interest."
I would say the difference is
Who's going to lose?
you need
money?
to
Who's
hold-
going to lose in that deal?
Honestly,
The
the
bank
bank
will
makes
hold
more
$1
money.
$1 million with the
at
20%
the,
interest.
at the top.
How's anybody going to lose?
Honestly, in that situation, the bank makes more money.
Yeah, but let's just say this:
If it pays off.
Yeah, yeah.
so you have to take into consideration. You have to hold the most powerful position. You have to make sure that whoever's in that hold them accountable for everything. Because if they're able to do this stuff, people are going to follow suit. We don't want that to happen.
All right.
We want
So
somebody.
I
That's,
got a question for you.
Unfortunately, I don't like Trump. Yeah, for me.
How did Trump steaks work out?
Okay.
Trump water. How did that work out?
Oh no. Are you talking to me? I don't.
Yeah.
agree
No,
with
I'm
any of
just
it. He's got a-
in a general
he's got a
question.
team.
I'll have to. I'm sorry, Geoff. Yeah, I was about to say I'll have to mute you to hear Christopher because I couldn't. What was the question?
Like when it comes to like Trump steaks, how did that work out?
His stakes.
Yeah, Trump
Yeah.
water, how did that work out? Trump University, how did that work out?
I actually don't know anything about those things. I'll be honest.
I'm just asking, like they were all failures, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I can recall, the Trump University thing wasn't even Trump. It was somebody else.
And
who wanted to
Pam
open a
Bondi
school under
did
Trump's
not-
name.
And Pam Bondi did not investigate his university, right?
I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi right now. I'll
I'm
be
just
honest.
saying, like she didn't do that, right?
That I don't know.
Because she got payment from Donald Trump, right?
Yo, what the fuck, McDundee, bro?
I'm just saying, like
Oh, sort of like how Ukraine, how Biden told Ukraine, you will not get the $1 billion unless you do as I say, and they fired that guy that was head of the oil company. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Okay, so why did he do that?
Who, Biden?
Yes.
Because what was it? Obama was going to give Ukraine a certain amount of money,
Yes.
and Biden didn't like the one reporter whoever it was with the oil company. They were saying
No,
something bad
that's
about
not
something.
what it was.
What's that? Go on.
It was because of corruption.
So Biden said, "Ha ha! You want that money? You're not going to get it
No, it wasn't
unless
Biden.
you
It
get
had
rid of
nothing
it."
to do with Biden. It had to do
No,
with
no,
it
no.
had
I
to do
remember
with
seeing a video where Biden was telling the story, and he said, "And son of a bitch,
yes,
they
for sure.
fired me."
Yes, yes. You're 100% correct. Yes, but the EU said we're not going to do that, right?
So Marty
And
Marty commented, Rush.
Obama said we wouldn't do that because you're so corrupt. Get rid of the prosecutor. Get somebody in there that we can agree with that will, prosecute properly, because your prosecutor is so corrupt.
And who was the prosecutor looking at?
Excuse me,
Who was the prosecutor looking to prosecute?
Lukashenko, right? Was
And
the
who else?
prosecutor?
Okay, who was he looking to prosecute?
Okay, so Marty commented, Russia made Trump. From what I understand, he's been going to Russia since the 1980s. So
Well, it's a fact that Russia was targeting business people in the 80s, and Trump did go over. It's been documented. I mean, I would say Trump is an asset. He doesn't know. I think Trump is easily not manipulated, but he wants to be friends with the most powerful people. He agrees with how people treat Putin, how they treat Xi, and he wants to feel that. And so now he has sycophants, and he understands that sycophants will listen to anything he says.
I think you and
unfortunately-
Marty would 100% agree on that.
Yeah, and I don't think he's being controlled. I just think he's being manipulated, and he either knows it and doesn't care, or he's just blind to it.
That's a fair argument. You don't think it's possible he's using Russia? I'm playing devil's advocate. Okay, gotcha.
No, because you think Putin, a KGB operative, would be used by Trump? No, hell no.
But see, I mean, let's be fair. That is an asset. If we're playing the KGB game, that is a point for Trump, because if you take that mentality, then you would say, oh, well, then yeah, surely Trump can't use them. So you
got to put in perspective that this whole time we fought proxy wars against Russia, and
Oh
also
yeah,
Putin wants EU and America to separate, and he doesn't have to do his job now because Trump's doing it for him. Trump is going after all our allies. pissing them all
Okay,
off.
but to be fair, to counter that with the NATO thing, okay, if we got Ukraine into NATO, then we would be drawn to that fight. I don't want to say the W word because I don't know if you can. You probably can. I don't know. If you got pulled into that fight because of NATO, is that any better than the situation that you're describing, where we're not with the EU?
Well, you can't use NATO because Finland and Sweden are NATO, and they border Russia. It is not about NATO. It is an excuse so they can take back Ukraine. That's all it is.
Well, it originally was, because when they signed the agreement with NATO, they said not 1 inch
There was
westward.
There was no signature for 1 inch forward. There was no agreement on that. It was verbatim. It was just words, and it does not.
Okay.
Mean nothing. It was not written in an agreement.
Okay.
Basically, NATO is not an aggressor. They are a defensive group. But Putin doesn't want a defensive group on his doorstep because he interferes with all the elections that are right next to him. Georgia. That's why Georgia was having riots. That's why. What was the recent one where they were out in the? Was it Serbia? Yeah, Serbia was out there because Russia interfered with their elections. Russia interfered with ours as well. They interfere with everybody because they want to push forward agendas that align with them, and NATO is against that, and that's why he feels like they do not need to be closer to him.
I guess that's the ultimate question is like, why would Ukraine want to be in NATO?
It's
What
just
do you
protected
mean?
because
Yeah, that's
they
a
do.
come
Yes,
on.
to
That's
be
a
protected, right?
Yeah.
From Russia. Like, why
Probably.
would they want to do that? If like
well.
Russia
Why
was like
has
super kind and honest and had like good relations with them, they
well?
would
My
not want
question
to be
is
in
why
NATO.
has
But like
Ukraine
they
not
don't
signed a
have
peace
that, right?
deal? Peace. They literally just sent bees over to where Russia keeps their in facility. Their I think I could say that nuclear facility. They literally, after talking about peace deals, they literally just sent it out of nowhere. Like,
It would the peace deals are they lose land. So put in perspective, if you own
sorry,
property, somebody
I'm sorry.
encroaches on your land, are you
You're
going to give up your property to them? I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
so.
He's not a part of NATO. He has no option. I hate to say it like
No,
that.
he's part of the Budapest Memorandum, which they gave up their nukes for us to protect them. And so we are obligated to help. I don't think Biden did it correctly. I think Biden is a fool when it comes to wars. I think he should not have been in charge of that at all.
Okay.
This whole Russia and Ukraine thing, Russia should have been stopped right at the beginning. This whole Israel and Palestine shouldn't even be happening at all. Obviously, it's been happening for hundreds of years. It's never going to stop. But us funding them to eradicate, I
Yeah.
don't agree with.
I was gonna say I was gonna ask if you had heard what Trump plans to do with Gaza.
I know I 100% don't agree with that. I think if Trump keeps going the route he's going, I think somebody else is going to come out, and it's not going to be the second time. It's going to be a third time. He needs to calm down, if you know what I'm saying, because he is
Mhm.
going on a path that will lead him to danger. Because you can see that Elon Musk with all these. I don't agree with all these cars being destroyed. Because there's a lot of people that don't even care about Elon. They just like the vehicle, and they're being
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all. But you can see what if somebody does overstep their
You
boundaries.
also have to understand, like, Russia has always been like, we're much more powerful than we always are, right?
Russia?
Yes, Russia has always been much more powerful, right?
They have the numbers.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, but what I'm saying is like our industrial complex has been like, oh my god, they're so incredibly powerful, but they're really not.
Brother, I don't think you understand our military's capabilities.
When
That's
it
what
comes
I'm
to the
saying,
world,
is, like, our
Russia is
military
strong.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is our military capabilities are way more like
Yeah, we're on another level.
Yeah, okay. I
yes,
got you. Okay,
yes,
gotcha. Sorry.
yes, than Russia's.
Yeah, okay, no, I agree. Well, and I'm gonna be honest, in my
We've
mind
been
it's
doing this
China,
for like
it's
60 years.
it's
It's
between
not like
China and Russia, and we have to admit if BRICS would have succeeded, which it didn't, thank the Lord, it didn't succeed.
Yeah.
But if BRICS would have succeeded, we would have been kind of screwed. I'm gonna be
Which
honest.
I don't know how it didn't succeed because Brazil,
Because of those
China,
countries
India,
who,
Russia, like
who the moment, dude, think about it. The moment you introduce two superpowers like Russia and China, one's communist, one is basically dictatorship.
yeah,
That's
don't
not
blame.
gonna that's not gonna mesh well.
Yeah, that is true.
no, but the policies that we're putting in place today is pushing them that way, right?
Oh, sure,
To get rid
absolutely.
of the
Yeah.
dollar.
But and
We're getting rid of the dollar just because of our policies today.
another thing to that is with the tariffs. Like, okay, people talk about the tariffs that were going out and Trump was
How
sending,
does
but
that
nobody
not
was talking
leave
about
us
the tariffs that
leave us
were
more
applied to us. You know what I mean? We were paying significantly more percentage wise in tariffs than everybody else. Every country.
I don't think that's true. I think there's other countries that are higher than us. If you look it up, I'm pretty sure I looked this up.
As
There
far
are
as like
countries that get higher.
as far as what we're importing, like we pay more, or are you talking about like just in the world as far as like percentages of imports?
Just as tariffs put on a country, we're not number one. There's definitely other countries because I
Right.
looked into it. I
No.
don't remember the
No. What I'm saying is
USMCA that Donald Trump
what I'm saying is the
literally
countries that we
initiated.
trade with that we already had tariffs with before Trump was ever in office, we
No,
paid
shit,
significantly more on the
USMCA,
tariff
right?
percentage. What?
Well, the thing
He
is
made
like,
the UNCA. Like, literally, this is the policies that he's
yeah,
like
like
so angry about right now. That his policies he's angry about right now.
yeah, the
With
milk
the
one where he's like
USMCA.
250% tariff. No one knows about it, and I'm like, yeah, they do.
No,
Because
it's
you were
not
the
a
one that created it.
200% tariff.
Well, there is one. There is a high percent tariff, but it has to meet a threshold of
After
what we
they
consume.
import X amount
Yes,
into
we have to consume a
product.
certain amount. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Which we have never met that
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Um,
But
so
it's a 250% tariff. No, it's not really not.
well, and it's funny because like if you introduce reciprocal tariffs, then everybody's just paying a lot more for the same shit, and it's like, why are we doing this? This is
I
stupid.
guess so. The
But
one
it's a
thing I
deal
don't
that
think
Donald Trump made.
Well, I
tariffs
mean,
will
he
work.
had to. Let's be honest, he had to do it.
No, he didn't have to.
Oh, he absolutely
No,
did,
no. This is what
in
it
my
should be.
opinion.
Tariffs will work. Tariffs will work if you have a foundation. If you don't have a foundation, then it's going to crumble, and that's what's going to happen. Let's just take, for example, aluminum. We don't have. I think it's bauxite. Is it BAXRITE? That's what they mine for, and they get aluminum out of. I don't know the
Okay.
correct term, but we have very little deposits of that. Our aluminum is going to skyrocket. We will not be able to meet demand.
Right. Because we don't make it here, right?
We don't have the deposits. We don't
Okay.
have enough to.
Okay. So when you say deposits, do you mean like minerals in the ground? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that can't be solved. Okay. Other than importing the things to make those things, that problem alone can't be solved. Okay. So in that sense,
Tariffs like that are
yes. Yeah. In that sense, I agree that tariff sucks. Okay. But for businesses that produce goods, part of the whole tariff war is we're gonna win it because we don't export anything. We export two point. I think it was 8. I don't. I'm gonna try to keep the point whatever as close as I can. I'm pretty sure it was 2.8% of our entire GDP was exported goods. So tariffs don't hurt us that much, except for the ones that like you're talking about with the aluminum.
Yeah, that's the one. You like the flat tariffs where he does stuff like that is bad.
Yeah.
And the other thing is
It's because we import everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's what that's what I said.
What was
I
I?
don't
Was it-
disagree
oh,
with you on that.
him.
What?
We are an importer nation, right?
Yeah, that's one of our problems. It's one of our biggest problems. But that's part of
That's
why
what he
tariffs
said.
are going to
When it
work.
comes to, like,
Well, you have to have the foundation, and you have to have it already structured before you put in tariffs, or we're going to go into a recession because everything's just going to increase.
Well, and I'd like to know like the percentage of like you were talking about the aluminum. I'd like to know like how much we import of aluminum versus goods that can be made here, versus things that cannot that are made from minerals in the ground.
so like let's talk about like lumber from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, aluminum is one of the highest imports this guy said down
Yes.
there. Maybe that's true.
You can talk. You can talk, Greeny. You don't have to stay muted, bro. You got a good mic. You can talk.
I'm just saying, like, when it comes to lumber in Canada, like, we're fucked, right?
I wouldn't say we're fucked. I mean, because we still have. I mean, I've lived kind of out in rural, the country and stuff. Man, there's lumber mills.
We're screwed when it comes to lumber.
Yeah. Well, the
Right.
thing is like the tariffs that he put on lumber in the past, they increased the prices of every wood, and it didn't help us. It hurt us. So why, if he increases it again, how would it help us even more?
I'm just saying, like, when we get our lumber, like, when we want to build something, it comes from Canada.
Yo, thank you, TV Grub Live. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Guys.
Yeah, I'm an environment.
What were you gonna say?
I was just saying I'm an environmentalist, and he has kind of notion towards going into our so people don't know this. I'm sure a lot do. I'm not sure, but national forests are already used for lumber. We already use those for lumber, and they have a huge area. What I think he's talking about is national parks going for lumber. That should not happen. If that happens, it's going to be chaos for him. Because there's so many people that want to preserve that.
Yeah.
And if I hope he doesn't do that. But a lot of people don't know that national forests are already lumber.
Dude, I bet some of those trees are like hundreds of years old in national
Bro,
parks.
if he hits redwoods, I'll go over there. I will.
He said, "I'll be a tree hugger." What do you mean?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Have you ever seen redwoods? Dude, they're magnificent.
I have not. Oh, guys, we're gonna pack it up. I want everybody to get one word in before we end. We've been going, dude. We've had a long show today. We've been going for 1 minute and 47. So, or a minute, jeez, an hour and 47 minutes. So I guess let's start with P Rock, and then we'll just go down the line. Everybody, get your last words in that you want the audience to hear, and anybody who's listening and hasn't followed yet, I'd appreciate if you follow. No pressure, but I would appreciate it. So thank you, Pickler. Let's go ahead and go around the table.
Well, when it comes to the Department of Education, I think it's a good thing. Tear it down, rebuild it if you want to rebuild it. But I believe in states' rights.
Okay. All right. Soft Pickler. And guys, I don't want any responses. I just get your statement out, and then we're gonna pack it up.
My stance is it's not DOE. It's No Kids Left Behind and social media with all these phones that have basically made our kids stupid. DOE, I think, is wonderful when it comes to helping the unfortunate. And so hopefully they bring it back and it's not gone forever.
All right. Good take. Greenie, what you got?
Yeah, pretty much like how Joe said, tear it down. Just hopefully it gets rebuilt or gets just kind of rebrought or brought back as something else. Because that's the main thing, man. I mean, we can sit here and talk about it all night. I mean, but it ultimately falls back on the next generation. What is it going to look like whenever they get to our, the time in our life where we are right now?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Geoff, you're up.
Give back to the states and then make everything less government spending.
Okay. When you say give it back to the states, what do you mean? Like funding?
The funding in the Department of Education, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And then Christopher, send us out on a positive note here, brother.
I can't do that, brother.
Oh man, come on, try. Send us out with a smile. Tell a joke.
I love LEO, but like the top 15 states are like y'all when it comes to like getting rid of the Department of Education.
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, honestly, the end of it is we've been the states have been making their own curriculums, so we'll just have to see. All right, guys, we're gonna pack it up. Thank you everybody for hanging out. We're going live again on Monday, and I've actually got a show planned tomorrow with Smokehouse Studios that we will be live on. It's a kind of a special little show.
You can catch it on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. He's on iHeartRadio as well. Smokehouse Studios, if you want to catch it there. And like I said, we'll be on here, YouTube, and Kick. So, yep. Everybody have a good night, and we will catch you fellows later. Peace.
Take care, folks.
All right. All right, we're getting out of here. We'll be right back. We're gonna take like a 20-minute break, something like that, and then we'll do a gaming stream. So yeah, see you guys in a little bit. What? You okay? Are you mad at me?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was like, she's ignoring me. She never ignores me.
No, I'm sorry.
Are you?
Not ignoring you.
Are you
I'm so
tired?
angry. Huh?
Are you tired?
No. Do I look like I'm crying?
No, you just looked. I don't know.